Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for an experience like no other. Tune in every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for The Mary D. Show, where the ordinary meets the extraordinary. The Mary D. Show brings you powerful insights and inspiring stories from a diverse range of guests. Join our incredible host, Mary D. Welch, as she sits down with thought leaders, business owners, and changemakers, sharing their journeys and successes. From career professionals and entrepreneurs to educators and beauty advisors, Mary D. Welch interviews sports figures and health enthusiasts, offering a platform for extraordinary voices. Explore the world of extraordinary people and places in business and finance, homes and real estate, beauty and wellness, education and empowerment, sports and health, and more. Want to be a guest on the show? Call 619-669-8603 or email marydwelch.com. Visit www.marydwelch.com to learn more.
Hello, everybody. It looks like I don't know why I'm in the little area here, but anyway, we'll figure that out. I'm looking at there we go. Oops. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Mary D. Show. Those of you some of you are super fans and you come weekly. I'd like to welcome you back. And if you're live, definitely welcome. If you're watching the replay, welcome to the Mary D. Show. I'd like to also welcome our executive producer, Oliver Welch. Hi, babe. He's in the background. You guys know that you get to, at Christmas time, you get to talk to Oliver. He'll be on camera. He comes out and you guys get to ask him questions and all that fun stuff. It's really interesting, I think, because people don't see him all year and he comes out at Christmas. I think a couple of the kids will come out. A couple of the grandkids may come too, but I definitely want to welcome you. I'd like to also welcome our sponsors for today's show, Front Page Publishing. Those of you that are looking to write and publish your book, go to frontpagepublishing.com. If you've already written the book, you can get it published. And if you're writing the book, you can get book coaching on how to have your book published. Because many people, literally daily, I almost now speak to someone that they know what they want to write. They have an idea, but they just don't know how to put it together. They just know that they have an idea for the book. But how you get it from idea conception to an actual book, they haven't been able to make those dots connect. And that's what Front Page Publishing will do for you. You get to connect the dots. For many of you that are on the email list or you're on the text list, if you're not on the email list or the text list, you can send an email to contact at Front Page Publishing, and then your name will be added to the list. So either way, you can be added to the list. And I want today's topic. Those of you, let me say this, I'm a Dodger fan. That should say a lot right there. I'm definitely a Dodger fan. Today, the Dodgers, as many of you know, today's the parade. They won the World Series. It was it will go down in history. It's probably one of the best World Series that in history, because it came down, those of you that are not fans of baseball or watch baseball, I only tend to watch the World Series. Now, the games leading up to the World Series, I don't tend to watch those. Well, when they get in the playoffs, I do watch that. But the World Series, I'm going to be watching that. I'm going to be honest. That's one I don't miss. And I actually have that for those of you that are not baseball fans. I am putting the World Series on, and it's only the highlights. And I'm doing it because I've heard people say, "Oh, it's really a slow game." And I can understand that. I played, oh my goodness, softball. And really in college more than anything was volleyball, basketball, softball. So being that I was a softball player, I understand what it takes, to play with any sport. Anytime you're an athlete, though, the demands on you physically are just as much the demands on you mentally. And even when the series started, Oliver and I just said at the very beginning of the World Series, I said the Dodgers are going to win. And he didn't say anything, but that's just Mike. I actually said that when they were down, by the way. They were not even, when they were down game 3, I think it was, and they went to 18 innings. And I said the Dodgers are going to win. And they did. Now, not that I can see into the future, but I also understand mentally winners have a different mentality. If you noticed, those of you that saw it, they remained cool and calm, even though they don't get me wrong, they were struggling. They were at one point, even at the last game, they were down. At first it was 4-1 Toronto, and then 4-2 Toronto was winning. They're winning by 2 runs. It is hard, ladies and gentlemen. It is hard to get somebody around those bases. That's one of the hardest things you can do, is get somebody went from batting to all the way back to home plate again. And those of you that are baseball fans know that this is not an easy thing. It's a challenge. So what I'm going to do is put this on so you can get an idea of what it is as far as the highlights. Because here we go. Hold on here. I hope I did it correctly. You know, I don't do this. You know me and that technology stuff. Hold up. Let's see now. Oh, I may have to go back in and turn it on or turn it. Let's see. I have it here, but now I just got to get it for you guys. So just a minute. Let's see. But I guess I need to do this and put it on first.
3-2 to Vlad Jr. It's a fastball to get him. Springer was running. He's tagged, and that's the inning. So both teams get leadoff hits. Neither able to take advantage. Off and roll in game 7. No score. Ohtani to the plate with another 1-2. And he got him with a fastball. Ohtani gets out of the bases loaded jam, and a couple chances over the first 2 innings for the pitches outside of that epic game 4 of the championship series where he hit 3 home runs. Corks this ball to left center field. Lucas is on the run. He reaches up and makes the catch. Nathan Lucas tracks it down in the warning track. Mad Max doing it again in the postseason.
Only the 3rd.
You see Justin Obrusky beginning to loosen. Springer loops upon the left field, and he's 2 for 2. And he's 4 for 6 since returning from injury. Vlad Jr. takes in the dirt. It gets away. Springer takes 3rd.
I mean, there you go. He's going to walk him to do exactly that, because you got Bichette that can't run, and he's going to be trying to hit a fly ball.
Fly ball deep center. Edmonds going back. The ball is going long. 3-run home run. Bo Bichette. The Jays on the board first. In one swing, Bo Bichette makes it 3-0 and chases Shohei Ohtani from game 7.
Breaking ball, and he was all over it.
Trying to do it to his old team in the World Series. Lines the ball to center field. Varsho lays out, and he made the catch. Smith is in to score. It's 3-1, but don't
play the ball straight on to the center fielder that's diving is so difficult, and my goodness, positioned his glove in the perfect angle to get this ball.
Scherzer's 2-0. Edman pulls one down the line. A diving stop and catch by Vlad Jr. He has used the World Series stage to show everybody that he's more than a slugger.
You get that there's extra time kind of baked in there when he's either on the plate, when he's either at the plate.
It's in the dugout, hangs him up, and the next day he coaches. Manages way up the minor league rung. Andres Jimenez. 2-2. This one actually hits him. Throw it over the plate, says Jimenez. The bench is clear in game 7. The bullpen's empty in game 7.
That's on the list of the most overrated thing there is.
Now you're all tired and out of breath. And for what? Come watch you guys stand around.
Yeah.
So here it looks like he tries to get hit. And this time he doesn't have to try.
Well, I can promise you this. He's not trying to hit him.
Pass, it's 1-1. Edman flies it to center field. Varsho sizes it up. Here comes Betts. Here comes the throw. It's way up the line, and it's a one-run game. Sacrifice fly from Tommy Edman, and it's 3-2 in the sixth. As I'm the captain now. And then this most wacky play. Andy Pages runs over the left fielder, Kike Hernandez, and oh yeah.
Go 3-1.
2-1. Pages up the middle. Jimenez comes home and gets the lead runner. The infield drawn in works for both teams late. Chopper, right side. Not an easy play. Vlad feeds Dominguez. Beat him to the bag. Toronto's by Zoom. Not easy though over there. Dominguez looking down trying to find the base.
That was a tough play, and he did about as good a job as you can do under the circumstances.
Smith, it's a high fly ball to deep left field. It's got a chance. It is gone. It's Will Smith in Game 7. And in the 11th.
Okay. Why did I want you to see that, ladies and gentlemen? Because they were losing. Hold on. Let me go back. Yeah, they were losing. You could hear me. I said, this is not a game they were winning. This is a game they were losing. And I just want to talk to us about what it feels like when you're losing. Do you still want to, how do you dig deep? How did they dig deep and still win when they were down in the first inning, I think 3-1. Think about this. It's a World Series Game 7 and you're down 3-1 going in. How do you get yourself up again to still want to win when you're losing at that level? Because many times, a lot of times we're winning, but what about when we're losing? What about when it's not going our way and you want it to go our way and you want to win? Even though this was their second one, this is back-to-back World Series for them. What does that feel like? They didn't, even though it was a back-to-back World Series, they didn't want to lose. They have, even as I'm speaking to you right now, there was a parade earlier and they're at Dodger Stadium. Truthfully, I really went online to get tickets and they were already sold out. That's how fast they went. But I look back and I think, I've been to the parades in LA when the Lakers have won, and they were back to back when they won national championships. I took, when the boys were growing up, took them to the parades because that's how historical it is. That's how hard it is to win these championship games. Now, in our lives, we may not be in championship games, but we're in different situations that we want to win. If you want, it can be, maybe it's a contract that you want to win to work with a certain supplier, or maybe it's a job you want to win. There's a job that's a big promotion. I was speaking to a friend not too long ago, about 2 months ago, and she we're just talking, and she said, "Mary, I just interviewed for a job, but she said I don't think I got it." And I said, "Why?" And she goes, "I don't know. Am I enough?" I thought, wow. And she did get the job. She was more than enough. She was more than qualified, had more than what they wanted. But we think that. So winning doesn't always have to be a game, is what I'm trying to say too. It can be a job. Maybe it's the love of your life. It could be that person. And you're just trying to figure out, how does that work? Am I enough for them? Am I what I think they want? But the truth of the matter is, I'm sure many of you already know this. I don't have to say this. It's just be who you are. Be who you are. Because the truth of the matter is, if you're anything but that, who you are is going to show up. They can't hide. It's not like that. That's not how life is. The person that you are will show up. They will become. And then, haven't you seen, I don't know if you guys have. I have. When I've seen people get married, and then all of a sudden, six months later, not even a year later, boom, they're getting a divorce or annulment, whatever they want to call it. You know why? Because the real person showed up. Because all before they got married, they were dealing with the fake person. I call it the representative. The representative showed up, and they were dealing with the representative just fine, but they didn't know who the real person was because the person never showed it to them. They only showed them who they thought they wanted to see. And once they showed the real person, they're like, I can't live with that person. Because if you had shown me that person to begin with, then we probably wouldn't be here. But since I didn't know that's who the real person was, I've seen it happen time and time again. And I understand it because what do? We send out the representative. That's what I call them. I don't know what other people call them. I call it sending out the representative. You send the representatives out, and you're the nice person, you're the this, you're the that, but that's not who you really are. And then you can only stay that way. I don't know how long it is, but it's not long. Eventually, what happens is when the real person's coming, they creep out. That's what I call it. They don't just jump out. They little by little, they show who they really are. It's just how life works. But I digress. I was back on how winning is for us. And what is it? What would it have been like if they had lost? Nobody's talking about Toronto today. But they were playing just as hard to win as the Lakers were. I'm sorry, as the Dodgers were. They were, and honestly, I actually felt at the end of this series there were no losers. There were no losers because those men played their heart out. They left everything on that field. There was no question about it. I saw Mookie Betts had written, I think it was on social media. For those of you who don't know who he is, he's a shortstop for the Dodgers. Very well-known player, excellent professional baseball player. And he even said, I thought it, I never said it, but I thought that he was having a terrible World Series, and he was. And he was not doing well at bat. He wasn't doing bad in the field, but at bat, oh my gosh, the man was terrible. But for him to say, he was apologizing. Like, wow, I'm doing terrible. And what happens is when you're doing terrible, we have a tendency to trying so hard to correct until what do? We start doing worse. That's truly what happens because you're trying just so hard to get a hit, trying so hard. I think the whole World Series, he may have had, I don't even remember seeing him had one error. The whole series, I think he may have had, at the most, he may have had two. But at bat, he was terrible. He did get a base hit. I forget, I think it was game 6. I forget, but he did get a couple of base hits, but not like he normally does. This was not his norm, I can tell you, because they even walked him. That's how good he is. They're like, we better let him walk. We don't even want him to hit the ball because we know what he can do. So that should tell you of what kind of baseball player he is. If you get a chance to see the parade today, I saw the parade. If you get a chance to see them at Dodger Stadium, to look at the stadium and everything is blue and white. Everything. And I wore green today because I didn't have any blue and white. Sorry about that. But I didn't have a Dodger, which I'm going to have to get now because I've been a Dodgers fan. I just didn't have the regalia of being a Dodger fan. But I've been a Dodger fan for years. When the boys were little, I would take them to Dodgers game because I just have a love for Dodgers. But I have a love for sports. period. I'm a sports enthusiast. But I don't know. I think Oliver's more than I am, but I watch my share of sports from football, baseball, and basketball. Those are the three. But I also have a love for volleyball. I'm a volleyball enthusiast. I really like volleyball too. So those are our four sports we watch. We haven't really watched a lot of soccer. Soccer we haven't got into. I know soccer is really big, but boxing. I watch boxing because Oliver watches boxing. I've become a boxing fan. I wasn't before, but because he watches he's a fan, then I tend to be a fan. Because if he's watching it, I tend to watch it. And I've learned a lot about the boxers and stuff like that. Part of it, I think, because I'm always trying to learn about the mentality. That's what I'm looking. I know you would think, oh, everybody's physically fit and all that. I know that's to me, that's a given if you're in sports. But now, what is the difference between a winner and a loser? What is the difference between the Blue Jays and the Dodgers? Because that's what just happened. That was this past Saturday. What happened that the Dodgers are the World Series champs and the Blue Jays are not? And I don't even know these people, but I guarantee you somebody's home crying about that. And some people will say, well, it's just a game. It's more than that. Because when you play games, your ego is on the line, your self-esteem, confidence, all that is balled up in that game. We don't talk about that. And that's why people cry when they lose, because they put everything they've had into winning and then they still come up short. When you see grown men cry, that tells you it's more than just a game. It's more to it than just a game. So it's not just, oh, we lost, because it's more, I would tell anybody, losing is more than what we can ever put into words. You really can't explain it. The one thing I compare it to is, I remember I shared with you guys, I played bid whist. For those of you that don't know what bid whist is, it's a card game. It takes 4 people to play. You deal out the entire deck of cards, including the 2 jokers. So everyone gets 12 cards each, except 6 cards go in the middle of the table, the card table, and that's called the kitty. Now, I've been playing this game since my uncle taught me. I played at 8 years old. So at 8 years old, I learned how to play this game. What I did not know then, and I know now, he was teaching me to be competitive. He was teaching me to win. I didn't know that. I've only just started realizing all this just probably lately, because he would tell me, he said, Mary, play to win. He never said play to lose. He was just, he said, when you sit down, I remember now, I'm 8. He said, when you sit down at that table, the only thing you should focus on is winning. And so I took that to heart. So when I sit down, that's my goal, is to win. It has always been since then. And now, do I win every hand? No. But the goal has already been set from the man that taught me how to play. I'm teaching you that this is the goal. Winning is the goal. In that game, in bid whist, there's no money. There's no money on the table. Think about that. We're playing for bragging rights. That's what it comes down to. I mean, unless we're playing in a tournament. But for the most part, we're playing for bragging rights. We're playing for fun. We're playing for ego and just to have a good time. But do I sit down there to lose, even though I'm playing for that? Remember, there's no money. It's not like I'm going to get up and win money. It's not there. That's no money there. But my ego is there. My confidence is there. My self-esteem is there. It sits on that table, whether I say it or not say it. And everyone that's playing, theirs is sitting there too. They don't want to have to get up and say, oh, we lost and everything like that. It is a good feeling. I played this has been a while ago. And this lady said, my partner and I, because you play with a partner, we had been sitting there basically all night. We didn't never have to get up. Getting up means it's called the way the game is played is if you win, you get to remain seated, and if you lose, it's called fly. So you have to what's called rise and fly. So as long as you win, you stay in your seats. You don't get up. But if you lose, you have to get up and let somebody else play. So another lady in the room came over and she said, "You guys have been sitting there too long." And I'm like, "What do you mean we've been sitting here too? There's no such thing." And she goes, "Oh, it's time for you to move." But what she was really saying, you've been winning too much. That's what she's really saying without saying it. You've been sitting there long, meaning you've been winning. The only way we can sit there is that we're winning. And so when I heard her say that, I knew exactly what she was saying. You've been winning too much. And I'm sitting here thinking, no, we're not winning too much. There's no such thing as winning. But it is when you're winning. Of course, I wasn't going to say, oh, yeah, we're winning too much. I just said, oh, no, we're playing again. We're just having a good time. And she goes, no, it's time for somebody to unseat you. So you have to get up and move around. So I think about different scenarios with that. That's just a game because like I said, I grew up playing it, but I played with another partner. This is a few years ago, and we were winning so much. The opposing team got up and physically turned the table. Think about what they took the table and turned it, because what they're saying, luck is running with you so strong, you're winning so much. I need to move. We got to move this energy around. So they turned the table, and guess what happened? We won again. I remember that night because I sat there. I said, "Wow." I'll never forget that because I'd never seen anybody do that. That you felt they were so, you could say threatened. I want to say threatened, but that they would physically turn that table so that the luck, what they were saying, we want luck to run with us. It's running with you. We want it to run with us. And by turning this table, luck is going to run with us. It didn't happen. Even when they turned the table, not only did we keep winning, we kept beating them so bad. Finally, the wife said, "I'm going to sit down and play." And she wasn't playing it initially. The husband was playing, but the wife was playing with another partner. And she sat down. She goes, I'm just going to play. Since they're just winning too much, I'm just going to play. Hi, Antonio. And I'm sitting there going, I can't believe what I'm seeing here. And then I thought, well, I really had to catch myself. I said, well, what if you were losing like this? Wouldn't you do anything to change the odds of that? But what I've accepted truthfully about winning and losing, you win some and you lose some. That's that. No one wins. I already know this is true. Nobody wins them all. It's impossible. It's virtually impossible. So nobody can win every single. I don't care what it is you're playing. I don't care when you're playing it. The worst team can beat the best team on any given day. These are the facts. This is a fact. So don't think that every time you win, and I don't ever want you to think that every time I sit down, I win, because I don't. And not only do I not win, when I don't win, Oliver come over to me and goes, you know you're losing, right? That's how he said. He hasn't done that in a while, though. I have to give him credit. But he would tell me, he goes, and I sit there, I'm like, yeah, I do know. Because when he says it, I think, yeah, I know. If I didn't know it before, I know it now. But I laugh about it because even when I'm losing, I sit there and I think, okay, what really can you, when those cards are dealt, remember, we're dealing with the entire deck, and I don't have a deck near me, otherwise, familiar with the deck of cards. When those cards are dealt, I have no control over that. I have no control over what cards are coming in my hand. None. I pick them up, look at them, and go, okay, now this is what I have. These are the cards dealt. Period. What I do with them, do I bet? Do I not bet? Do I let the person next to me bet and I don't bet or whatever? Because you're betting on how many the way the game is played. I'm not gonna give you a lesson in bid whist. Just understand. I have to say something. I can say pass, meaning if I don't have nothing to bid, I pass. And the person next to me can say something, or they can say pass. I've seen it pass all around the table and back to the person that dealt the cards. The person that deals is the last one to bid on the game. That's how the game is played. So I'm sitting there. It's interesting because sometimes the cards are just terrible. They're terrible, meaning they're like 7, 8, 9, no ace, and there's no ace or queen, or it's just all over. And you're trying to make a good hand out of that. Sometimes you can't make one. There is no good hand. And then I've had other days I've received both jokers, 3 aces just in my hand. And I just go, wow, you just never know. And that's a good hand, by the way. If you can get both, you can get any joker, but jokers and aces are good cards no matter what, because you can go with the ace, you can bid high or low with the ace. Meaning high meaning ace, king, queen, jack, or low meaning ace, what am I trying to say? Ace, 2, 3, 4, like that. So you can do either way. An ace can flow either way, high or low. Jokers can be whatever they say the trump is. For those of you who play spades, you're familiar with the trump always being spades. The only difference for bid whist, the person that gets the kitty can name the trump. They don't name it unless they get the kitty. Once they bid and they get the kitty, then they tell you, I'm coming in diamonds. But they tell you before if they're coming high or low. Low, ace, 2, 3, high, ace, king, queen. And remember, the jokers can go either way. They can be low cards or they can be high cards. So you can have them, they can flow. The aces and jokers go whatever the way the person that gets the kitty, those 6 cards in the middle, the kitty, that's those 6 cards. And then you want to take those 6 cards, the one that gets it, and make your hand better. Now, I have the biggest compliment I've ever received from a player. And this was a few years ago too. And he said to me, he was getting ready to sit down. He looked over at me, he goes, Mary, I get scared every time I sit down. I'm laughing. He said, every time I sit down to play you, I get nervous. And I said, why? And he's like, because you are not playing. When you sit down and play cards, you are not the one. And I said, it's not that. I literally think of my uncle whispering in my ear. My uncle's he's passed away, oh my God, probably 20 years now. 15, has to be 15, 20 years ago. But I can hear my uncle's voice in my ear to this day. I still hear him telling me, you are here to win. You're not here to lose. You're not here to play around. And I'm at the table at this time. Everybody at the table is an adult. I'm the child at the table. And he's telling me I'm there to win. And I'm playing against adults. And he told me, he said, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how old you are playing this game. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter what color of your skin. None of that matters. Only thing matters is those cards in your hand and you determining a bet. A bid. What is your bid going to be? And then making it, not just saying it, but making it. And the bids go from the lowest that we play is 4. And that means I can go into it, but that let's say 4. And the highest being, what's the highest? I guess you could bid a Boston. A Boston means that the other team is not getting any of those. They're called books. I've never heard anybody bid a Boston. Never. I've seen them make it, but I've never heard anybody come out and bid it. I've heard them bid 6, which is high. It's so interesting when people bid a 6 and make it, because 6 is hard. That means you're saying that they're only going to get 2. Even as I'm talking to you now, I realize that those traits that my uncle taught me how to play bid whist are still in me. As I said before, I hear his voice, Uncle Rose, in my ear every single time I sit down. Not one time have I ever sat down and not heard him in my ear, not heard him tell me what to play and when to play and I can hear him talking to me because he was so adamant about how I played. But I was adamant to learn too, because I said, well, how do you do this? And why do you do that? And what made them do that? And every single time he would answer me, which is for an 8-year-old, an adult to take the time to do that. And my uncle had 14 children, and he still taught me how to play. I just couldn't hardly believe that, but he did. So Rose, I'm giving you your flowers, Uncle Rose, because that's you. You gave me something that you gave me more than just the game. You gave me a determination. It was so many things that I learned from you from playing that, because the one thing he had with me, if you think, like I said, 14 children, he had patience for an 8-year-old girl to learn. And I stood at the table. I just stood next to him. And until the one day he said, you get to play, Mary. And I'm like, I told him I wasn't ready. I said, Uncle Rose, I don't know everything. And he said, you're never going to know everything. I said, oh. He said, you're never going to know everything? Nobody knows everything. Because I'm thinking I need to know everything about the game before I play. And he said, no, just play. And he goes, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to get it wrong. He goes, but that's how you learn. That's how you learn. You cannot learn. What he was telling me, as long as I stood next to him, I never really will learn the game. I'm not going to really learn the game until I jump in the game. And that was a lesson I learned from him. So those are my cousins. That's your dad. You know how much I love your mom and your dad. There's so much. I'm really kind of, I guess, dedicating this one to my uncle and my aunt. Unfortunately, they both have passed on, but they have been so influential in my life. And that's my Aunt Vesta and my Uncle Rose. Those two. They were the first wedding I ever went to. When I go to their wedding, I forget how old I was, but I was real little, but still, they were influential. And I'm sure many of you have people in your life that was the same way, that they have influenced you in different ways. And if you think about it, it may come to you as to how they have influenced you and how you have influenced other people the same way. It may not be a game. It could be how you speak, how you dress, how you talk. It could be a family member. It could maybe not. Maybe it was a teacher, but someone in your life, someone at church. And I was talking to a friend just yesterday. We went to a birthday party, and I started telling her my stories, and I thought, I'm going to have to put these stories in a book because I have so many of them that happened to me, and I don't want to say they're all good. They're just life experiences. So I'm thinking I wasn't the only one experiencing them. I'm sure other people did have their own life experiences. That's what I'll say. But I have one I'm going to share. Well, I'm going to share with you. Then I try to think of which one, because there's so many of them. I'm trying to think. Well, I can tell you one. This is how, I forget how old I was, though. I don't remember. We got 50 cents a week for an allowance for whatever, cleaning up, taking the trash out, whatever it was. We were washing the dishes, but that was our allowance, is 50 cents a week. And what I did, I look back, I can't tell you why I did that because I really don't know. But I just remember the pastor saying they need something needed fixed or something at church. And I gave my whole 50 cents to the ministry. And they called me to the front of the church, which was kind of scary for me. But they were saying that you are, you're a blessing, and you gave, because normally in Sunday school, we would give pennies. Let me just say that. But it was powerful what he was saying to me. So I just said, okay, I'm going to get my whole allowance. For us to do that, now think back, was big because for 50 cents, we could go to the movies. That's what that's my generation. That's what you could do for 50 cents. Hard to believe that now, but we could go to a movie and we would get sunflower seeds for 50 cents. We could go on a Saturday. It was 35 cents to go to the movie and 5 cents each for the pack of sunflower seeds. Yeah. So those of you that are younger, it's like, what is she talking about? Those were the days. Now, we didn't know it at the time, but that's what we did on a Saturday afternoon. We could go to the movies. And that was a big deal. It wasn't like a huge deal, but it was fun for growing up. But anyway, this particular Sunday, I don't know. And I honestly don't know why I even had my whole 50 cents, but I did. And I just gave it to him. And you would have thought I gave them thousands of dollars. I didn't understand that normally we only had for the offering for Sunday school would be about 25 cents at the most, just all pennies predominantly. So for me to give my whole 50 cents, that was unheard of. And I just thought, okay. But when they brought me up to the front and they were saying they were saying all these blessings over me, truthfully, I didn't really know what they were talking about. All I knew was, you said you needed the money. I have 50 cents. My but I didn't understand then. They were blessing me. They said, you've given your all. I mean, why? And they even asked, why did you give so much? And I said, because you said you needed it. That was why. On the way home, it's about 5 or 6 of us walking home that same day from church, and on the ground was a $10 bill. I remember picking that up going, wow. That's when $10 was really $10, by the way. Nowadays, you probably get a candy bar with $10, but at that time, a candy bar only cost us like 5 cents, maybe 10 at the most. I'll give 10 cents for the Hershey's and Butterfield, all that, 10 cents. So to find a $10 bill, that was like finding a $100 bill in our generation. But it was still one of those situations out of all, and my friends and my sisters and brothers knew it before. They're like, that's because you gave that 50 cents. That was the first thing they said. They said, out of all of us, you're the only one that saw the $10 bill, and you're the only one that gave the 50 cents at church. And I thought, maybe it's something to that, because they were the ones they said, and this they had just said before I found the money, I would never give my whole allowance like that. I may give 25 cents, but I'm not giving 50 cents. And they had just made all that comments, and they're like, so now you don't have any money to go to the candy store. We used to have a store. It was a candy store near our house. So, and they were right. So I'm listening to them thinking, I don't have any money to go to the candy store. I don't have any money to do anything. But I just said, I'm not worried. I'm going to go on and do my dishes, and I'll get another 50 cents next Saturday. That's pretty much it. But making the correlation was interesting because I did not make it. They did. They made that call. They connected the dots and said, and they even said this, which I was surprised. They said, how could, of all of us, you see that $10 and none of us saw it? I didn't have an answer for that. I had no answer for that. All I knew is that this is how God wanted it to be. So it was one of those, okay, Lord, this is how you want it to be, then this is how, I didn't know. But I just knew that it was a good experience for me to have gone through that. And I'm sure you had your experiences too. Many of you have had things happen to you or things you have experienced in life that there may not be an actual answer for, or you can't put it in a little box and say, this is why this happened, that kind of thing. I've just seen so many things in life at this point, good and bad. I will say good and bad, more good than bad. I will have to say that too. Thank goodness. It's definitely more good than bad. But ups and downs are still there. It's never been where I can sit back and say, oh, that's it. I think the that's it is when we leave this earth. That's what I think it is. So I'm not there yet. I'm not saying, oh, that's it. But I'm saying to you, live it. What does that mean to you? To live it. Live it. Does that mean you travel? It may not mean that for you. Does that mean you make a lot of money? It may not mean that for you. So because I don't have to tell you this, money is not everything. True enough, we got to have it. Now, I'll be the first to admit that. We do have to have it, but it's not the end all be all. Because there are people that have money and they may not have the friends they want, or they may have health issues. Money can do a lot, but it cannot do everything. It's not the everything that I think that sometimes we act like it is. I really know that. Not that don't get me wrong. I need money like anybody else. I don't want anybody thinking I don't, because that's not true. But I also need friends, and I also need family. I also need love. I can't buy those things with money. Money won't buy that. It just doesn't. Those are intangibles that I don't care how much money you have, you cannot buy your family. You can't do it. You cannot buy love. Love is a gift. Love is a gift, so you can't buy that either. And I see Elaine popped in, a super fan, because Antonio's a super fan and Elaine's a super fan. Hi, Elaine. So you came in, Elaine, and I'm just talking away. And Elaine, your comment is, oh, don't be late. Don't worry about being late. Busy working on getting more Proposition 50 in for out and encourage everyone to vote. Oh, Elaine. I've been sending, I hope you've been reading the emails. I've been sending them out. We voted by mail. Oliver and I voted, I think, last week. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Elaine, for reminding us. If you're in California, please vote yes on Proposition 50 if you have not already done it. If you have already done it, thank you. It's appreciated. And if you haven't already, please vote. If you haven't registered to vote, you can go and register on site. You have to bring an ID. I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on that. But I think you have to bring some type of identification, but you can register at the polling location. This is what I would do. Don't go by anything I'm saying. Call the register of voters. Whatever, if you're in the state of California, California has a special election, Virginia, New Jersey, and New York. All of these states have special elections. New York is I believe, for governor. I think that's what's going on right now in New York. And if I'm not mistaken, right now, that in the elections, Democrats are leading as far as, depending on what it is. I mean, we don't know on Proposition 50. We won't find out. I'm sure they're tracking all of this right now, but we won't know. But I've been sending out emails. I may even I haven't sent out texts, but I did definitely sent out emails and said to please vote yes on 50. So if you're in California, if you know someone in California and you're not in California, please encourage them to vote yes on 50. Please do that. And Elaine, I know you'd be happy to find this out. I'm changing the time of the show for 2026. Ta-da! So I may be able to attend I don't know if I can attend the meetings or not. We'll see. I would rather attend by Zoom because it's a lot easier. I just need to find out how I can do that so I don't collide. But anyway, just wanted to let you know that the 2026 the Mary D show is going to go to a new time. Da-da-da-da. Are we ready? It is going to the new slogan for 2026 is live at 5:45, the Mary D show. That's the new slogan. So the time is changing to 5:45, effective January of 2026. Same day, just different time. And that's a difference that's going to take place. So I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that. But like I said, it won't start till 2026. And I don't know the exact date. What's the first Monday in 2026? I don't really know. But whatever that day is, the time will change. And I will let everyone know. You'll know. That's why I'm starting now. So we're working up so they know by January that the time has changed. It's going to move to a later time in the evening. You'll see more posts on social media. Just some changes that I'm just excited about. New things coming up. May even change the background for the studio. We'll see. And that'll be new. Just a lot of stuff. I'm going to do more remotes, meaning I'll be out. I will take you guys with me on we have a function during the holiday season, pretty much a lot. And I haven't been filming at the functions, but I will start filming. That's what I will do, is I will start doing more remote filming. Antonio. Hi, Lori. You did? You got some books sold? Wow, Antonio. Wow. Good for you. And you got some Christmas cards sold too? I know too. I think I bought 2 sets, didn't I? I need to buy another. I think I bought 2. I bought 1 set. I need to send you the money for the second set to your mom. Wow. You said Christmas cards too? Here we go. So, ladies and gentlemen, excuse me, if you want to text Antonio, put your website in the chat so anyone can buy his Christmas. I bought 2 sets. I already bought 1. I'm buying a second one of Christmas cards. And they're beautiful. They're all original. Antonio made them. And many of you know Antonio, he's a super fan. He's been on the show at least once. I still haven't been able to get Elaine on the show. I've been trying, but we haven't been able to get Elaine on, but we will. And maybe in 2026, Elaine. Maybe that's what it'll be. 2026, you get on. So I'm hoping that's it. For sure. Today was a different one. We do have speakers lined up. They're coming the next couple of weeks. I have different speakers coming to the show. And I don't really put on there we're going to talk about, because sometimes I just like talking to you guys. But I think I will start telling you what the topic is when you come on the show, so you know what it is when you come on. But as I said before, we're going to a later time in the evening. So that maybe that's a better time. I don't know. I have people that come on and they watch the show. They watch the reruns. It'll be a little later for the East Coast, but you never know. The East Coast may like it. We'll just try it out and see if people do. If they like the later time or they like the earlier time, I don't really know. But we're definitely going to try it come January 2026. So your feedback is important to me. Many of you received a text and an email, and there was a survey attached. Please complete the survey, because it gives an idea to me as to what you want. Many of you saw the survey. It asked about if you were interested on a cruise, if you're interested in a retreat, if you're interested in a writer's retreat, or you're interested in an all-girls retreat, if you're interested in an all-girls cruise, all of that. I'm asking you, because the goal is this is all for you. Oh, where's your website? I'm sorry. Oh, the chat won't let you? Oh, you know what, Antonio? If it won't let you, it probably won't let me. I'm going to be honest. I think it's, let me see. Text it to me. Okay, hold on. I think you're texting it to me now. artbyantonio.net. Okay, I'm going to see. I don't know if it's going to let me either, because you know what, Antonio? Sometime I'm just going to put it in here. Art by Antonio.net. Because these systems, they don't like me all the time either. And I can tell you, it's like, okay, I don't know if it's going to put it up, because Facebook doesn't like it when I put stuff up. It doesn't. If I put websites up, it does not like that. But I am going to try and put that survey up, and we'll see what happens with that. But Facebook, no. It's like, no, I don't like this. So we have to see how that works. I hope it went up. I hope it's everybody can see that. Please order your cards. Okay, I'm gonna go. Hold on, because this is Elaine said. Elaine, what'd you say, Elaine? You have 5:45 is NAACP. Okay, the only thing is it's on the third Monday. Okay, I know. Okay, but every other Monday is good for you. Okay, then that's good, because that was my only. And I have meetings at on Mondays too, Elaine. I really do. But honestly, any day of the week, I would have picked. Only day that probably may have worked was Wednesdays, and I was hesitant because that's Bible study for a lot of people. So that's why I didn't want to pick Wednesdays. But I know about the NAACP meeting. I don't know what to say about that, but I know about it. So we'll see, because I did think about that, and we'll see. I don't want to say anything because it's hard. I wonder, because if I do it, because if I did it, I don't know. I'm not going to say because I don't know. But I haven't said, all it is I'm just giving the time. But if you're saying this is you'll be there except for the days on the third Monday, which makes sense. I get it, because I'm a member also. Well, we'll see then, Elaine. We got to talk about it for sure. So I know we're getting near the end, but I want to thank each and every one of you for coming, ladies and gentlemen. I did talk, those of you for not familiar with Bid Whist, you almost got a lesson in Bid Whist today. I did leave some things out, so don't feel, I would encourage you, if you're interested in the game, go online and learn. If you go to YouTube University, and it's all there of how to play. I'm not a good teacher of Bid Whist. I'm a better teacher of history. I'm a better history teacher, but I'm definitely not. I'm really good at teaching you how to write and publish a book. But Bid Whist, I think, because I don't know, I can teach it. I'm trying to think, who have I ever taught it to is the question. Because you have to really play the game. It's what that's what I've gotten for it. I think you just need to play. So anyway, but I want to thank all of you for coming out today. I think if you're if you got the survey, I didn't put it in the chat. Oh, I'll probably, what time is it? You have 2 minutes. But if you didn't get the survey, send me an email. You can send it to contact. Let me put in the email. Contact at Front Page Publishing. .com. That's it. I think I did. There you go. Send me an email if you need to talk to me, if you need to get the survey. If you have the email and text went out. So if you're on the email system or the text system, then you got the survey, and you'll start seeing different things come up due to the survey. I'm still writing, haven't stopped writing, still writing children's books, haven't stopped writing those, haven't stopped writing anything really. But I want to thank all of you for your support, because you don't even understand. I get text messages back from many of you, and they're always very encouraging. So thank you for that. So I will see you in a week. I love you. I appreciate you, and God bless you. Bye, everybody.